Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Hey, I'm still trying to figure out what is up with the sheriff's office. Like, it seems to be almost like a nationwide problem. I don't know. There's just something going on. You know, I had left a message for a guy that apparently has some connection. He's some kind of liaison with Homeland Security down there in the LA County Sheriff's Office, because I got to get to the bottom of this child support case. You know, and I just keep thinking, well, you know, nobody will contact ICE. And I'm like, well, surely this guy down in LA, surely he'll contact ICE for me or something. He'll contact Homeland Security Investigations. He'll get to the bottom of why the heck this child support case keeps getting steered. But I don't know. I didn't get a phone call back today. I mean, who knows? You know, I have such bad identity theft. Sometimes, you know, maybe it might take him a couple days to get back to me. But there's just something up with the sheriff's office. I mean, I just can't seem to figure this out. I don't know. Okay, so I gotta tell you, this is just so crazy. There's just some reason that nobody ever wants to contact ICE. You know, I keep talking about this recent episode I had down in Harlingen, Texas. Oh my God, it was horrible. Horrible. Well, I mean, when I can't even overemphasize, you know, I mean, how ticked off Agent Trevino with Border Patrol was. I mean, the look on his face that night, you know, he just had that look on his face while he just wanted to like punch that cop like through the phone. But okay, so now get this. So I stayed in this domestic violence shelter. What happened is that I had stopped Border Patrol, and Agent Trevino had called the Harlingen police back, and then he waited there for the Harlingen police to come and get me. And then the Harlingen police, instead of like, you know, putting me in the domestic violence shelter, they threw me in a homeless shelter. Can you believe that? And then, you know, I was talking to this chick at the homeless shelter, and then the next day she's like, oh no, you need to go to the domestic violence shelter next door. I'm like, duh, you know, I'm thinking with the police are such assholes. But so anyway, so I got in this domestic violence shelter, and then half of the people that work there, like this one girl, like her dad was retired from the Harlingen police, and I forget, I don't know, there was another chick that I don't know, her some relative was like, I don't know, worked for the police or the sheriff's office at some point. But anyway, so there were people that were connected into local law enforcement there. And then here's the kicker of the whole thing. So like, you know, usually these domestic violence shelters work with their local police departments. But what do you do in my situation when the police department was an asshole? I mean, you know, I'm staying in the domestic violence shelter where they work with the Harlingen police, but the Harlingen police were assholes to me. So it was like horrible even staying there. Okay, so now get this, you know, I give them this letter. I give everybody this letter. You know, I'm a long-term crime victim. It says right on the Homeland Security, real big, Homeland Security. Okay, now there was you know, hate to breach confidentiality, but just to get the point across, there was a guy that was living there that apparently was an illegal alien. He was a human trafficking victim like me. But unlike me, that was only allowed to stay there for like 30 days, and then the place was going to throw me out on the street. This guy showed me papers. He got some kind of help from some law firm up in San Antonio that wrote everything out. Instead of just having like a letter like this, I wrote everything out. You know, this guy's a human trafficking victim and blah, blah, blah. And apparently he was getting some kind of immigration help from ICE, and his case was getting prosecuted. I guess it's because he had a private attorney with the Human Trafficking Coalition up there in San Antonio. I couldn't get any help from the Human Trafficking Coalition up in San Antonio. And I think a lot of my situation has to do with the FBI being assholes. But anyway, you know, so when I was down there, now, you know, I kept telling this advocate with the domestic violence shelter, I'm like, dude, man, I am such a crime victim. I got agents, you know, this is just not fair. So, but instead of taking me over to talk to ICE again, ICE, you know, see this says ICE. Okay, so ICE can mean Homeland Security, can mean Border Patrol. I mean, you know, they knew Border Patrol had, like, you know, been involved already. All right, so instead of taking me there, she takes me to the Cameron County Sheriff's Office and has me talk to this investigator, Arturo Miranda. Okay, so here's his business card. He gave me a business card. And, you know, the only thing I got from him, he's like, well, if you know these guys are doing this, like why do you fall into it? And I'm still thinking, asshole, you know. The Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office knew I was having problems too, and you know, they weren't stopping the problem. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what the hell to think. But there's something not right with that. And so, you know, I had walked over to Border Patrol myself. You know, and when I walked from the domestic violence shelters a couple miles over to the Border Patrol station, I had flagged down a Border Patrol car that day, and I just want to make sure I knew where I was going. And you know, these two Border Patrol agents, they were just like, you know, hey, how come nobody ever contacts us? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, well, they're like, go over and talk to Perez Rodriguez. He's with Border Intelligence. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, thank God. That's what I need, Border Intelligence. I need some intelligence here. So hi PR, you know. And I mean, okay, let me tell you, when I went over there, it was so horrible. You know, the stupid domestic violence shelter, they wouldn't give me any makeup to wear. You know, I hardly had any clothes to wear. And I go over there. Can you imagine now? I am the Avon lady. I am the Avon lady, and at the time I was still selling Mary Kay and stuff. I had none of my makeup except for like a little bit of lipstick that was in my purse. I mean, nothing, no foundation. My hair was just however it could be. I had no hairspray, no hair gel, nothing like this. And here I'm the Avon lady, and I go over there and I'm looking like total crap. I mean, it's so embarrassing because, you know, you walk into Border Patrol and, you know, here, you know, you're on camera and I'm looking like such hell. Roll tape. Okay, you know, and I'm like talking to Perez, and, you know, he's, oh gosh, he was so nice. But so I'm like, you know, I just go up to the desk and I'm like, oh yeah, Border Patrol, they told me to ask for Perez Rodriguez. He's Border Intelligence. And then, you know, so I'm telling him what the hell happened. I'm giving him my letter, you know, and stuff, you know, this letter. And then he's like, how did you get here? And I'm like, well, I walked. And he immediately see the look. I said, you walked? I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I walked a couple miles over here. Now, the interesting part about it is that the domestic violence advocate would take me to the sheriff's office. She drove me to the sheriff's office, but she would not take me over to the Border Patrol substation so I could talk to Border Patrol. You know, that's where I talked to Border Intelligence, Perez Rodriguez. I mean, he was just horrified. I mean, but can you imagine, no makeup, your hair not done, looking like total crap, don't even have any perfume on, you know? I don't have anything, and I'm over there telling Perez Rodriguez what the hell happened. I mean, he was just in total shock, dude. I don't know. So I don't even know what the hell to think about local law enforcement. I mean, how do you live? I don't know how, like, somebody like me lives in, you know, the United States, you know, and the only, it's just like Congressman Henry Cuellar said, the only help I'm going to get is from ICE. I'm like, well, you know, I'm very grateful to have ICE, you know, thank God. And thank God for Border Patrol, and thank God for my agents and so forth. But my God, if something happens to me, I mean, I need to be able to count on my local law enforcement. I need to be be able to count on the police not being jerks to me. I need to count on the sheriffs not being jerks to me. And, you know, and I need them to contact ICE if something happens. I mean, ICE doesn't respond to 911 calls. But, oh gosh. And you see, the domestic violence shelter, I think it's just because there was some kind of conspiracy between the domestic violence shelter, like not giving me any makeup to wear. And let me tell you, these domestic violence shelters, I have stayed in many of them, unfortunately, in the last 10 years, but especially within the last 3 since all hell broke loose. I mean, I've stayed in them in Arizona and then in Texas and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know, and like I know they get tons of donations, tons of makeup donations, fragrance donations, and so forth. And so the very fact that they wouldn't give me any makeup to wear, I mean, they just want me to go around Harlingen, Texas looking like shit. I mean, because basically what it boils down to, see, if I look bad, you see, if someone physically looks bad or they smell bad or whatever, you know, they're not dressed nice, that they're not kept up, then nobody wants anything to do with them. And so that's, I mean, it was actually the domestic violence shelter was being just as abusive, if not more, than the person that jacked me into that situation in the first place, that crime ring. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell to do, but I just gotta tell you, so embarrassing going over to Border Patrol with no makeup. But yeah, as you can see, I'm getting myself back on track. And then, you know, thank God I got, you know, I love being the Avon lady, so I was able to restart my little Avon business. Check out Avon by Susan Knisely on Facebook. Go to my Facebook page and see all the great stuff on Avon. Thank God I'm working again, because boy, you know, that was another thing. I was trying to stay there in Harlingen, Texas. There's a cute little hospital right there, and it's literally practically it's almost across the street from the Border Patrol substation. And now I could have stayed there. I could have worked at Harlingen Regional Medical Center, and then I'd be right near my ICE guys. But you know, I applied for a job there. And then, of course, you know, you know, there was like a delay in a background check and some kind of crap. And I get this thing from the hospital that says something about, instead of using a background check company that was in, say, Texas, they were using a background check company that was out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And I found that. I'm like, why is a hospital in Harlingen, Texas using a background check company out of Las Vegas, Nevada? Well, let me tell you, if you know the history on my case, this happened down in Los Angeles, and it happened in Texas too, where there's been delays in background checks out of Las Vegas that has prevented me from getting a job. So if I'm not working, then I don't have any money. But there was something strange in the hospital. I don't know if it had something to do with the police working in a co-conspiracy with Harlingen Medical Center. Personally, I think that the police and even the sheriff's office maybe, the sheriff's office, 50-50 on the sheriff's office, but definitely the Harlingen police were trying to keep me away from my ICE guys. They probably hacked the hospital. I mean, they were probably working with the FBI to, be mean, cruel, and evil to me, and that's what usually happens, I mean, it's highly suspicious that the local police are actually working with these, I think they call them sting operations with the FBI, that's why I said just to make me look bad in front of the general public, because the more that I look bad, then the more they look good. It's basically because I got all these jerks in trouble. But oh God, he just, And, I was actually, a couple years before when I had worked in Hidalgo County, I worked at this hospital called Edinburgh Regional Medical Center. And one of the nurses I worked with in the ICU, she's married to a Border Patrol agent. And I was telling her, I was like, Sarah, I was like, girl, can't you hook me up with a Border Patrol agent? I'm like, you are so lucky your husband is a Border Patrol agent. Like, nobody will ever hurt Sarah because her husband's U.S. Border Patrol. I mean, nobody screws the Border Patrol. And so, and I showed her my ICE letter. I'm like, see, now isn't there, some nice, cute, single, Border Patrol agent that, whatever you could introduce me to. But she never introduced me to anybody, So anyway, that's a whole nother scam with that. I'm like, come on, dude, I mean, geez, if, it's going to date somebody, it should be nice to be Border Patrol. I mean, they would definitely protect me, definitely protect me. They would look at this and go, oh my God. So I don't know what the heck's up with that, dude. I don't know if, I never did actually talk to her husband. I told her, I said, tell your husband he can call me. He can, come over, whatever, he can call me, Sarah. Have your husband call me. But her husband never called me. But anyway, apparently she's married to a Border Patrol agent. But so anyway, I just don't seem to have luck with that. And then when I do encounter Border Patrol myself, I'm always looking like hell, over there in their substation with no makeup, no perfume on, and all like that. Or flagging down a Border Patrol agent, with looking like hell, and trying to explain to them that I'm just got, I have this whole sex trafficking problem, that doesn't really make a Border Patrol agent just really want to jump on you, as far as asking you out when, you just got kidnapped in a sex trafficking ring. So anyway, I don't know, my odds are against me as far as ever actually dating a Border Patrol agent, but at least I got them to run to, that's for sure. But I'm just so excited. I got my Avon all set back up. I got an Avon order today, Avon Instinct perfume for women and for men. Check it out on Avon by Susan Knisely on Facebook. I'll keep you updated on what the heck's going on with the sheriff's office. I'm still working on this sheriff's office too, Sheriff Paul Babu. He actually relocated me from his district in Apache Junction, Arizona, all the way down to Tucson last year. I don't know why the heck. That was a whole nother domestic violence shelter scam. I was having problems with a domestic violence shelter in his county. So instead of him putting a stop to it, they just relocated me, shifted me down to Tucson. So there's some kind of steering going on between the sheriff's offices trying to get me the hell out of their county. And I don't really know why. Like I said, it's happened in Sheriff Paul Babu's county, and it's happened down there in Cameron County, Texas, too. And I don't know. So there's something not right. But anyway, that's tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Hope you have a good night and keep yourself safe. See you next time.